In the summer of 1966, somewhere in Haight-Ashbury, a man handed Janis Joplin a bottle of Southern Comfort. His name was Ron McKernan. His friends called him Pigpen. He was the founding keyboardist and vocalist of the Grateful Dead. He was 20 years old. Janis took the bottle. She drank. She kept drinking. For the rest of her life, Southern Comfort was her drink. On stage, off stage, in bars, in interviews, in the Porsche, in hotel rooms. Southern Comfort. The company eventually sent her a fur coat worth $5,000 as a thank you for the free advertising. She wore it on stage. One bottle, one moment in Haight-Ashbury, the most famous prop in rock history, handed to her by a man that most people have forgotten. This is the story of Pigpen, and of what he and Janis were to each other. Ron McKernan was born on September 8, 1945, in San Bruno, California. His father, Phil, was a rhythm and blues disc jockey on a San Francisco radio station. The house Ron grew up in was full of the music that most white households in California in the 1950s didn't have. Deep blues, soul, R&B, the sounds coming up from the Delta and Chicago. He absorbed all of it. By his teens, he could play harmonica and piano. He could sing the blues the way only a handful of white musicians of his generation could sing it. Not as imitation, but as something that had actually gotten inside him through years of listening. He looked the part, too. Long, dark hair, full beard, leather vest, the appearance of someone who had wandered in from a different decade. While the rest of the Grateful Dead was moving toward psychedelia and cosmic improvisation, Pigpen stayed anchored in the blues. He was the heart and soul of the early Dead, Jerry Garcia's own words. Unlike almost everyone around him, Pigpen didn't take LSD. He drank. Thunderbird wine, Southern Comfort, whatever was available. The blues musicians he idolized drank. He drank. He was, in every important sense, a bluesman who happened to be white and young and living in San Francisco in 1966, which was also a perfect description of Janis Joplin. They met because they had to. The Grateful Dead and Big Brother and the holding company lived within 2 miles of each other in Haight-Ashbury. Both bands played the same venues, the Avalon Ballroom, the Fillmore, the smaller clubs along the Strip. Both bands went to the same parties, and both Pigpen and Janis were, in their respective bands, the ones who didn't fit the acid rock direction everyone else was moving toward. Their bandmates were taking psychedelics and finding cosmic connections between notes. Pigpen and Janis were drinking and singing the blues and wondering why the party always seemed to be happening slightly outside the room they were in. They found each other in that gap. A short romantic relationship, then a longer friendship. The specific closeness of two people who understood each other's particular kind of outsider status within a scene that was supposed to be for outsiders. Bob Weir, the Grateful Dead's rhythm guitarist, described Janis years later as one hell of a girl. He talked about her romance with Pigpen with the warmth of someone who had watched two friends find each other. They were, at their core, the same type. The ones who stayed in the blues while everyone around them floated away on something else. The Southern Comfort bottle was Pigpen's introduction. He handed it to her. She drank. She kept it. Not just the drink, the gesture. The specific generosity of a fellow blues person sharing the thing that made the blues bearable. The understanding that some people needed something to hold on stage. Something physical between themselves and the audience. Something that said, I am a real person standing here, not a performance. For Janis, the bottle became that thing. She held it on stage. She drank from it mid-song. She referenced it in interviews. It was part of the costume without being a costume, because she actually drank from it, actually needed it, actually used it as the prop it appeared to be. When Southern Comfort sent her the fur coat, she wore it proudly. The joke was on them, and she knew it, and she found it very funny. The company thought they were getting a celebrity endorsement. They were getting the Southern Comfort bottle as a theatrical prop in one of the most honest and least theatrical performances in rock music. Pigpen had given her something that became more than a drink. He had given her the object that, on stage, said, "This is who I am." On June 7, 1969, Janis Joplin walked onto the stage at the Fillmore West in San Francisco and joined the Grateful Dead in the middle of their set. She sang "Turn on Your Love Light" with Pigpen. The song was his. It had been the Dead's show-stopping finale for 2 years, growing from a tight blues number into a 15 to 30-minute improvised performance where Pigpen would rap over the band, call and response with the audience, sing and shout and carry the room. That night, he shared it with Janis. For 20 minutes they went back and forth, trading lines, trading energy, two blues people on the same stage doing what blues people do when they find each other. The band kept the groove. Pigpen led. Janis followed and then led. Then Pigpen followed. Nobody planned it. Nobody rehearsed it. That was the point. They did it again on July 16, 1970, at the Euphoria Ballroom in San Rafael. The same song, the same exchange. Janis 3 months before her death, Pigpen 3 years before his. Two people who had found each other in a gap, sharing the gap one more time. Pigpen died on March 8, 1973. He was 27 years old. His liver had given out. Years of drinking, the Thunderbird, the Southern Comfort, the everything, had done what years of drinking do. He had tried to stop. He had eaten well, stayed sober for a period, tried to recover. But the damage had accumulated over years, and the recovery came too late. He outlived Janis by 2.5 years. He watched the world celebrate her after she was gone. He carried the memory of 710 Ashbury Street and the Fillmore and the Turn on Your Love Light nights, and the specific ease of two people who didn't need acid to find the music. His epitaph at Alta Mesa Memorial Park in Palo Alto reads, "Pigpen was and is now forever one of the Grateful Dead." He was 27 when he died, the same age as Janis, the same age as Jimi Hendrix and Jim Morrison and Brian Jones. The 27 Club, which nobody had named yet. He was in it too, the one most people forget. Here is what this story asks you. Is there someone in your life who gave you something small, a recommendation, an introduction, a bottle of something, that turned out to shape everything that came after? Pigpen handed Janis Joplin a bottle of Southern Comfort in Haight-Ashbury in 1966. She drank it. She kept it. She carried it on stage for the rest of her life. She sang the blues from behind it. She received a fur coat from the company that made it. She wrote about the Mercedes she didn't have while driving a Porsche she had covered in the history of the universe. A bottle of Southern Comfort, given by a man most people have forgotten, who died at 27 from drinking too much of it. The best gifts are like that. You don't know what they are when you receive them. You find out later. Pigpen was and is now forever one of the Grateful Dead, and he is the person who gave Janis Joplin her drink. Subscribe. The next story goes somewhere nobody has taken you before.